Wondered why sometimes being a leader feels so heavy? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. When leadership feels heavy, and why you should practice self compassion before extending empathy to others. Welcome, everybody. Gracias por estar aquí. Thank you for showing up here for the Mujer de Exito Unbounded podcast. If you're watching me live on the Coach MartiAngel YouTube channel, thank you for being here. Make sure you subscribe and hit that bell so that you always get a notification of when I go live. And that is at minimum once a week. And if there's a special training for either my network marketing people or my affiliate people, it might be 2 times a week. But let's talk about it. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Mujer de Exito Unbounded, Woman of Success Without Limits. Today, I am your host. Well, actually, every day I'm your host, MartiAngel. So let's talk about what this is all about. I've been reading a lot of things about, the C-suites and, all of that stuff. But anyway, today I'd like to talk about how you can give back to yourself, because you've got to give back to yourself before you are a very successful servant leader. So let's go ahead and talk about and dive in to the topic that sits close to my heart. See, because everything leadership sits close to my heart. When leadership feels heavy, mujer, hermosas, chulas, practicing self-compassion before extending empathy to others is important. Sometimes leadership isn't glamorous. It doesn't always look like this, right? It doesn't always look like, the nice hat, the eyelashes, the clean glasses. Sometimes leadership is about just rolling up your sleeves and getting out there and walking the walk and talking the talk, right? And it's not always glamorous. It's not always the highlight reel we see on Instagram or the celebrations that we share online or all the beautiful homes, Sometimes it's just about sitting alone with your doubts. It's about allowing your doubts to sit in there, feeling them, and then trying to locate where you feel them and then open up space so that they get released. It's those moments when you whisper to the universe, why not me? Have you been there before? Because I've been there a lot. Why not me? I've been there, mi reina. I've been there. Hermosas, chulas, in my network marketing business, in my affiliate marketing business, in my blogging business, in my podcasting business. I've had seasons where I poured my heart into leading, showing up, serving, and yet still felt like I wasn't moving fast enough, like I wasn't doing enough. Have you been there? Ever been there? Because if you've been there, I know I've been there. And there are times where sometimes I just say, Dios mío, I'm giving it everything. Why am I still stuck? Why are things not happening? Why aren't sales showing up? Why aren't opportunities showing up? And here's what I'm learning in my Kabbalah. It's not that we're not worthy. It's that we haven't opened up enough or spread or opened up our vessel to allow more light to come in. And the more light that we can allow to come in, the sooner that you get everything you want. So now I feel you. I have felt you before. I know you. This is what happens. I'd see others rising, becoming superstars, and I'd think, Dios mío, I'm giving it everything. Why am I still stuck? Why not me? But let me share with you something. That's the invisible side of leadership that no one ever talks about. The side where you question your worth, your timing, and sometimes even your purpose. It's so consuming, self-consuming. But here's the truth. Aquí está la verdad. Leadership that's built on perfection will always feel heavy. Let me repeat that. Leadership that is built on perfection will always feel heavy. But leadership, mujeres hermosas, chulas, leadership that's built on empathy, especially self-empathy, flows. It just flows. You are in the flow. And if you've ever wanted to be in the flow, being a servant leader to yourself as well is so critically important. But let me share with you that I had to learn this lesson the hard way. I had to learn the lesson ever since I was a little girl, a little niña. I've held myself to higher standards. If I'm laying down, why are you laying down? I would ask. If you're sitting down, why are you sitting down? There's still things you need to do. The kitchen needs to be clean. Everything needs to be clean and everything needs to be done. Your desktop still needs to be clean. Ever since I was a kid, I've held myself to higher standards. And I know some of you out there are saying, Simon, que yes. Well, I feel you. Now, let me share. When I was a student who always had to get it right, I was just there. I stressed. I used to pray, dear God, help me, give me the smarts I need to get an A. I would pray. I can remember praying. And then when I became a student teacher, I gave 110%. And later on, woven in and out of my job career I was always an entrepreneur who never rested. If I wasn't working, I felt guilty. If I wasn't moving, I felt guilty. If I took a break, that little voice inside your head whispered. And let me just share with you, as a 2-time cancer survivor, I know that I did it to myself. Because inside my head was the voice that said, no seas floja, don't be lazy, right? Hermosas chulas, can you relate with that? Does the critical voice inside your head do that to you? Oh, yes. Mira, I sit back and I think, oh my God, can you relate? La voz crítica, the critical voice tells us that success only belongs to those who hustle 24/7 and never sleep. But amiga, perfection is a high price to pay for sanity. Let me just share with you and remind you, perfection is a high price to pay for sanity. And I kept on pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. And people would say, oh, you're so driven. And I thought that was a compliment. You're so driven. But there was a turning point. The turning point came one morning when I woke up exhausted, not just physically, but spiritually. I rolled out my yoga mat and I said out loud as I laid there in Shavasana, Creator, muéstrame cómo lidiar desde la paz. Creator, show me how to lead from peace, desde la paz, from peace, right? Because I didn't feel that peaceful feeling inside me, but I knew it needed to be there. Help me to lead from peace. Dear Lord, please help me to lead from peace. I remember saying that over and over. And in that moment of stillness, then I just went into a Shavasana and I heard the message I had been avoiding. You're forcing, Marty, forcing, not failing, forcing, not failing, forcing. And was like, whoa, wow. That hit me deep. I realized at that momentito that I was trying to lead from pressure, not from presence, from proving, not from peace. That morning, everything changed. Todo cambió. Now, when I feel the weight of leadership pressing on my shoulders, I pause. I breathe. And I remind myself, you are whole. And I am whole. I have everything I need. I lack nothing. I am whole and I have everything I need to succeed. Say that with me. I already have everything I need to succeed. Let's say it again. I already have everything I need to succeed. Yo tengo todo lo necesario para ser exitosa. Otra vez. Yo tengo todo lo necesario para ser exitosa. Because it's true, amigas hermosas, chulas. It is so true. You have the wisdom, you have the experience, you have the heart, and you, hermosa, chula, have the light to lead powerfully, even when you don't feel perfect. You see, I'm a victim of perfection. For the longest time, I used to tell people I'm a type A personality, and I thought that was a compliment. Now I say I'm a recovering type A personality because I didn't have empathy for myself. You've got to have empathy for yourself. Empathy starts from within. We talk a lot about servant leadership. I talk a lot about servant leadership because I believe in being a servant leader, serving others, guiding others, helping others. But you, hermosa, chula, when was the last time you served yourself with compassion? Let me ask you again. When was the last time you served yourself with compasión? You can't give, hermosa, chula. Here's the big deal. You cannot give what you don't have. And if you're running on empty, your team will feel it. Your energy speaks louder than your words. So if instead of pushing harder, you could try softening instead of criticizing yourself. Have you ever been there where you criticize yourself? Where you drop the spoon that you're cooking with and you go, ay, dumb shit, or ay, dummy, or excuse my language, pendeja. Instead of criticizing, try comforting. When I started to give myself grace, when I replaced my guilt with gratitude, I noticed that everything around me began to shift. So that is your big, top secret action step for today is give yourself grace instead of instead of guilt. Replace that guilt with gratitude. Once I started to do that, ideas flowed more easily. Conversations with my team became lighter, and suddenly my leadership felt more real. I felt raw. I felt like, yes, let me help more people, more human. That's when I knew I was leading with empathy, not perfection. On that day when I said, I am going to sit right here and just relax. And I let myself feel all the negative feelings, and then I just released them. You see, I began to realize that leading from the inside out helped me to lead outside. So let me tell you something powerful, chula hermosa. Leadership isn't about how many followers you have or how fast your income grows. It's about how deeply you love, how much you listen, and how well you lead yourself. That, amiga chula hermosa, that is the energy that builds empires that last. Again, let me repeat that because I want to make sure that you just embrace it. Just open your heart, close your eyes for a moment, take a deep breath, exhale, and just let these words soak in. Leadership isn't about how many followers you have, how many sales you make, or how fast your income grows. It's about how deeply you love, how much you listen, and how well you lead yourself. That's the energy that builds empires that last. Didn't that feel good? Every time you give yourself permission to rest, to reflect, or to simply just be here, you realign with your divine timing. You stop chasing. No more. I'm not chasing anything. I don't chase validation. I don't need to start attracting opportunities because they're already here. The divine knows, the creator knows that you have divine energy. And divine energy doesn't respond to stress. It responds to peace. That is why inside my community, which I hope that you are considering being a part of. And if you're following me and you're hearing me on the Coach MartiAngel YouTube channel, gracias por estar aquí. Make sure you subscribe and hit that bell so you never miss an episode. If you're listening to me wherever you listen to your favorite shows, gracias por estar aquí. Make sure you check the show notes for any links of freebies you might want. Okay, so let's say I teach my community of mujerpreneurs all this stuff. People ask me, where do you teach it, Marty? Where are you the teacher? I'm still the teacher inside the Rock Your Biz Academy for Success. It is a community of mujer, BIPOC, and women and mujerpreneurs, and those that are seasoned and looking for something to do after they leave their job. This community, esta comunidad, is for you. It's a cozy, empowering circle of women just like you, mujeres who are done leading with burnout and ready to lead with belief, power, and presence. We meditate, we learn, we share, we grow together, and we are building businesses and inner balance. Imagine balanced life success. So if your soul is craving that kind of safe, sacred space, ven mi reina, hermosa, chula, I invite you. It would be a blessing for me to be able to be a little part of your success. Join us. You'll feel seen, you'll feel supported and celebrated. Where? In the Rock Your Biz Academy for Success. If you're watching me on the Coach MartiAngel YouTube channel, make sure you look at the description below because I put the links below. If you're listening to me wherever you listen to your favorite podcast, make sure to look for the link in the show notes. Now, here's something I want you to try this week because you know me, as an educator, I still give homework. So here it is. Here is the exercise for the week. Every morning, before diving into your tasks, place your hand on your heart, whichever hand, doesn't matter, and whisper, I am leading from love and not from lack. I am leading from love and not from lack. Say it out loud, repeat it until your body believes it, and you're going to notice how your energy begins to shift, how people respond differently, how peace begins to find you and begins to find its way back to you as well, because you are practicing self-compassion. Allowing yourself the moment of peace is actually practicing self-compassion. It's not being selfish. It is being sacred. Sacred. Mujeres hermosas, chulas, if leadership feels heavy right now, take this as a sign. Por favor, tomen esto como una señal. Not to quit, but to pause. Make sure that you don't quit, but you pause. You need to pause to breathe. You need to pause to remind yourself that your purpose was never meant to drain you. The most powerful leaders aren't the perfect ones. They're the ones who rise again and again with love, grace, and empathy. So, hermosas chulas, my beautiful mujerpreneurs, my BIPOC friends, remember this. You are exactly where you need to be in this moment. You are not behind. You are becoming the person you need to be to expand your vessel and allow more light so you can vibrate at the level of every one of your desires. Trust me, mujeres hermosas chulas, you are being shaped into the leader your community needs. And if your heart needs a place to recharge, if your heart needs a place to reconnect, if your heart needs a place to figure out how to grow, then I invite you to join in our comunidad, the Rock Your Business Academy, to grow with like-minded mujerpreneurs. And I invite you to become a part, a growing part, a successful part, so that you can join us in the Rock Your Biz Academy for success. Because cuando una crece, todas crecemos. Because when one grows, we all grow. When one rises, we all rise together. Why? Porque juntas podemos más. Hashtag juntas podemos más. Together, we achieve more. Hermosas chulas, this is MartiAngel, your host of the Mujer de Exito Unbounded. Thank you for tuning in, hermosa chula. If this episode spoke to you in your heart, share it with another mujerpreneur who needs to hear this message and help me. Help me. My purpose is to help more and more mujerpreneurs and leave a legacy of Latina leaders behind me. Share it with somebody who needs to hear it, who needs to hear that it's okay to lead with empathy, not perfection. Until the next time, besitos y bendiciones, un fuerte abrazo. Have a beautiful day, everybody. Namaste. This is MartiAngel, your multiple streams queen, your small business coach, saying adios por ahora. And remember, your grace is your growth. Your peace is your power. Have a beautiful day, everybody. Namaste.